We're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly, the final part of the final part of the last days. This is the end of the world. This is the end of the world.
Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to The Attic and welcome to episode 6 of season 3 of the Last Days live stream, the show that aims to bring a little bit of levity to the last days before the apocalypse. As we all know, since 2020, it's been the last of the last days, at least according to governing body member Stephen Lett. So really, it's a miracle that we're all still alive. And I think we should celebrate this fact as often as possible, which is exactly what this show aims to do. Today, I am joined by my co-host, Arthur Weber. Hello, Arthur. How are you?
Hello, Lloyd. I'm great. As great I can be in these hectic last days. Jesus, it's very, very hard to go through all these last days.
You do have your go bag ready, though, one would hope.
Yes, of course. Especially if things don't turn out fine next Sunday after our presidential election final round, I'm ready to take my bag on my back and leave the country. But hopefully it won't turn out that dreadful.
What would you say are some must-haves? What would you say are some must-haves for a go bag, Arthur?
First of all, I do have here my neural translation back
right.
a bit like this. I can.
You mean it's not committed to memory?
No, not yet. But
not yet. You're working on that.
Luckily, we have the Bible. Even on my tablet, I have JW Library. I have internet access, so online library, and I have everything I need for a healthy spiritual routine, you know.
But in a dystopian society, it's surely only a matter of time before batteries run out and the internet disappears. So
yes,
it's good to have a hard copy Bible, as a backup.
Copy of the publications, including, for example, Enjoy Life on Earth Forever.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, if The Last of Us
yeah.
has taught us anything, it's that there is something to be said for analog.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. We also have joining us, so we don't seem to have a video at this point, but I'd like to welcome Diana, who is part of the JW Watch team. Diana, are you able to hear us? Oh, there you are.
Oh, hello. Yeah, we can see you. Hi, Diana.
Hi, I meant to say hi to you. I see you put a lot of interesting stuff on all the time. I enjoy reading your posts.
Oh, it's lovely to see you, Diana. And actually, I'm really pleased that you could be here for this show because there have been a few developments, and we won't go into them in too much detail, but suffice to say, viewers, there are some of you who will be keeping your ears to the ground regarding some interesting legal developments that have happened with the Watchtower Society, and specifically the governing body being subpoenaed. And I've decided to, rather than just kind of rush out a video, I've decided that this merits kind of like a long form discussion with someone who really knows what they're doing. Diana has professional legal experience as a court interpreter, specifically working. Stenographer. Specifically working in this kind of jurisdiction, and has also been really keeping her ear to the ground with developments, with legal developments in the field of child sexual abuse in America. So the plan is that this time next week on the Lloyd Evans channel, we will have a JW Watch special on this development. and hopefully Diana will be there to join us. Is that right?
Yes. I've been looking over the documentation and going over everything that was kind of filed by the court. So I'm kind of following the paper trail to get an idea of what's been going on, because it's been 4 years. So
Sure. And my understanding is as well, apart from anything else, I'm at that point in life. I know some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses seem to view this as almost a race, like who can put out a video on this the quickest. And I prefer kind of quality over speed, and making sure we kind of cross the T's and dot the I's, and kind of do this issue justice. Because as far as the conversation that you and I have had, this is kind of like going to be a long haul, isn't it? So if anything happens with this, it's going to be kind of months from now before we actually see the actual results from it. So
yeah, because there's a lot of back and forth. They are putting up a fight. I mean, they have a lawyer who obviously went to college, who is fighting everything, basically. Sure. And they're whining about a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it's just a delay tactic.
Indeed. But more to come.
Yes.
Tune in, same bat time, same bat channel, a week from now on the Lloyd Evans channel, and we will be going over it in detail.
And speaking of that lawyer individual for the Watchtower Society, Philip Rumley's life story has just been published in a recent Watchtower magazine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I believe so. Yeah, I got a letter from Philip Brumley once, believe it or not. Seriously, I really did. I'm sure I've talked about that before. If viewers want me to go into that all over again, I will be happy to. Let's keep an eye on the comments. Let's see. Kingfisher 222 says the final part of the final part of the final part, and so on. Indeed, isn't it amazing that we're still here, considering how deep into the last days we are? The fireballs haven't found us yet, although there's still time.
Gog of Magog is preparing the attack.
It seems that in the battle to trigger our audience, Beauty Rest has put in a preemptive strike to try and beat Arthur to the punch. Listen, obey, and be blessed, says Beauty Rest.
Or be sued.
Yeah, indeed. Which was the essence of Philip Brumley's letter to me, might I add. But nothing came of that. And Ray says, you prefer quality. What a difference. Yeah, it's not, the way I see it is it's not a race. I take that approach. I used to be a little bit more, it needs to go out now. And to be honest, and I take my hat off to creators who can do that. But in my own, I remember when I was doing it and when I was kind of chasing the scoop, it does come at a cost. You do kind of, especially when you have a family and you have kids, you do, things have to kind of make way. And I much prefer my work-life balance now, just kind of taking my time and doing things in my own sweet time.
And also getting the facts right. I've seen a lot of videos where people were, one of them saying, but the governing body was subpoenaed. Well, that's not true. They haven't been subpoenaed yet.
Right.
Just little facts like that.
Well, which is a mistake I made when I was describing it. So there we go. Yeah. And this is exactly why we need to do it as a long form live stream with someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
Yes, so. even in the secular world of journalism, many journalists are just in a race for sensational news and breaking news and clickbaiting and so on. And
I prefer to give the facts and be informed, and the listeners be informed as well, because if you're spreading something that's not true, it's not good. Yeah,
doesn't help anyone.
No.
Han Ivanovich says, sending my love and admiration to the Dream Team. There you go. I think we're the dream team. Thank you. Yeah, I probably am. I'm punching above my weight a little bit, but the rest definitely for sure. Let's. There's a story that's come out recently that I wanted to take a look at. I'd be interested in all of your thoughts, and this is literally. I have to credit Lee Elder, who is a long time. Arthur, you'll know who I'm talking about, probably. A long time ex-Jehovah's Witness activist who keeps very close tabs on what's happening in the world of blood transfusions. And I've made quite a few videos about hospital liaison committees and leaked videos showing elders how to deal with these situations. I just want to flag this story that's come out. You'll need to give me a moment just to make because there's some ads, unfortunately, that are popping up. But this is very tragically. Can you see it properly, by the way, roughly? This is very tragically about a pregnant lady passes away during operation as Jehovah's Witness doctor refuses blood transfusion. It was posted yesterday, and this is in Nigeria.
He refused to give one to her, or is she the doctor?
The doctor refused to give a blood transfusion to a pregnant non-Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, wow. You shouldn't be a doctor then.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And this was during a cesarean section.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So the story reads, a Nigerian man, Chris Adams, has taken to Facebook to mourn the tragic loss of his pregnant wife, Victoria Paris, who reportedly died during childbirth after a doctor allegedly refused to perform a life-saving blood transfusion due to religious beliefs. In a heart-wrenching post, Adams recounted how his 7 months pregnant wife began experiencing severe abdominal pains and was rushed to Standard Maternity Clinic in the Borokiri Churchill area of Port Harcourt. He noted that the clinic had successfully handled the births of their other children in the past, but this time things took a devastating turn. Adams revealed that although the cesarean section was successful, his wife lost a significant amount of blood and urgently needed a transfusion. However, the doctor allegedly refused to administer the transfusion, citing her faith as a Jehovah's Witness, a religion that discourages blood transfusions. He also condemned the hospital's poor operating conditions, claiming there was a power outage during the surgery, forcing the medical team to scramble to start the generator in the middle of the procedure. Adams further alleged that the family was misled into signing the consent form and blamed the doctor's religious beliefs for his wife's tragic death. So, interesting. I'd be interested to get your thoughts, and I will obviously be posting a link in the description for anyone who wants to look into this in more detail.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before. I know growing up, my grandmother had a friend named Irene, and her husband and her, he was a doctor. They were witnesses. And everybody always wanted to go to him, obviously. But I didn't think, I think that when it came around to have the blood transfusion, he got another doctor in to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so they actually changed their rules on this relatively recently. So it used to be that, and it was a little bit of a loophole. I actually discussed this. Get the name, was it Daniel Graves? My Daniel Graves interview. He just got out of Bethel, and he was working on the Hospital Information Services desk, and he confirmed that they did a reversal on this because it's something I highlighted as a loophole in The Reluctant Apostate in my book, and weirdly they kind of closed the loophole because it used to be that if you were a medical professional and you were ordered by a superior to give a blood transfusion, then you could do it. but it seems that loophole was closed, and I'm curious to know to what degree. I mean, this was for nurses, so I'm curious to know to what degree this will have had an impact on this particular situation, because this is supposed to have been the doctor, but you would think there would be a superior that he could defer to, and presumably the loophole would stop the doctor from doing that. Those were my immediate thoughts on reading the story, apart from obviously the incredible tragedy of a woman who has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses dying because of the religion, which is kind of like the ultimate nightmare, really, I guess, apart from the fact that, apart from the possibility of children dying. So yeah, just a really awful story, and one
unfortunately, it's Nigeria, and the government is so corrupt over there. So I doubt he's going to get very far.
Yeah.
If I had been in that situation, I'd sue the hospital and the surgeon.
Yeah.
He should, yeah. Whether he gets anywhere or not, I hope he does. But it's like India, where justice sometimes takes 20 years.
Indeed. So Ray says blood transfusion refusal is such a tragedy. Johnny B. Memphis says, Lloyd, will you be reviewing any of this weekend's UK branch visit? Was there a UK branch visit? I didn't know.
Yes,
so did you know about this, Arthur?
Yes, I heard about it on JW Talk. There was a message posted on Friday. Special meeting in connection with the 2025 branch visit in Britain branch territory tomorrow. That was on Saturday. We will have the live stream of World Headquarters representative Brother Willie Gornan on Saturday, May 10th. The meeting will start at 10:30.
I'm not impressed with that name. I don't think I've ever heard of it before.
The program will last for approximately 2 hours.
Willie Gorman?
Willie Gorman?
Yeah.
Sounds like you've just made that name up off the top of your head.
Willie Gornan.
Gornan. Okay. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I don't call an adult man calling himself Willie. Yeah.
I'd be more impressed if his name was Willie Gorn, and then he'd be like the alien in Star Trek, and I could make some jokes about that. But okay. Well, the truth is that I can only really so my attitude, my approach when it comes to covering stuff on the channel is it something that my viewers will find enlightening and edifying, and that will help us understand the religion more. So if Arthur, usually Arthur is like my go-to man when it comes to leaked footage, and if he manages to get me this live stream, and there's something in there that is really that people need to hear. Like a great example was Tony Morris's infamous Trinidad branch visit, which was at 2016 or something like that. 2015, where he just went off on one. It was poetry. It was
the tight pants.
He ranted about tight pants. So he said all sorts of things that were just completely bonkers.
And the fact that if we don't go out in service, we have blood on our hands.
We have blood on our hands if we don't preach. Yeah. So that was like a treasure trove of insights into the Jehovah's Witness religion, and it was really I couldn't not do a rebuttal to that. And who knows, maybe Willie Gornan or whatever his name is will have something.
His talk was titled "Have you given your heart to Jehovah?"
But the thing is as well, and this is kind of counting against Willie in whether I cover his talk, is the fact that he's not a governing body member, or indeed a well-known governing body helper.
Yeah.
So
and all these talks are just general service talks usually.
Indeed.
So nothing noteworthy, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, indeed. So we have, in reaction to the blood transfusion story, Jenny B, as Diana said, she should not be practicing medicine if she isn't willing to give patients what they require. It's just I struggle to accept that it's even Jehovah's Witness policy for this to happen. It could be that it's like it's more on the doctor than on the organization. But again, this is almost inevitable when you are tampering with medicine, when you're a religious group that tampers with people's medical choices. It's almost inevitable that one of your members is going to end up being a doctor, perhaps because they convert into the religion after going through medical training, and then that this situation will arise. So, in some part of the world. So, it'd be interesting to kind of get more details. I will certainly keep my ear to the ground and see if there's something in this that would kind of lead me to do perhaps a brief JW Watch video that kind of clarifies a few more things. But yeah, really awful story. Nine Putnik says, greetings from Serbia, our next door neighbors here in Croatia. Hi, Nine Putnik. Ray says religious beliefs cause death in hospitals. That is definitely true. Jenny B says the JW doctor should have let someone else care for this patient. Yeah, I mean, that's the common sense thing.
Yeah.
But it could perhaps have been, it sounds like the hospital was also experiencing power outages. So perhaps he was literally the only doctor on duty.
Could be. It sounds like it might be the case.
We don't know, again, the particulars of the story, and if I can learn more that will shed light on this story, I will certainly share that with you.
Yeah, and probably it was an emergency, and they just couldn't find another solution.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it's just sad.
There's quite a few interesting comments in the live chat that aren't necessarily connected with what we're talking about, so I'm just going to sift through them. Is it true the governing body is being subpoenaed for a deposition? That's actually just being debunked for us by Diana. They're being deposed, not subpoenaed. There's a
it's deposed, but they haven't been noticed to be deposed yet.
Right. Yeah.
They're named in the complaint.
Sure.
But it hasn't happened yet. But it probably will be.
But more to come. Tune in next week when we will have the documents, and I will have had chance to fully digest everything, and Diana will share her professional knowledge, which is considerable, on this story, which is relevant. It is important, and it will be very interesting to see how it plays out. Laura WM, thank you so much for your very kind super chat to the channel. Laura says, you helped me wake up, Lloyd. I started watching you in 2020. Thank you so much. Well, that's really sweet of you to say, Laura. Thank you so much. My default answer, and you must forgive me if I give it here again, whenever people say you helped me wake up, is to say, well, really, it was you who woke yourself up. I'm glad that I could have helped in some way. But the truth is that there are 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses around the world who aren't watching the Lloyd Evans channel because they haven't yet found, the courage and the bravery and the honesty to challenge their deeply held beliefs. And the fact that you could summon those things yourself and challenge your beliefs and get to the bottom of things speaks volumes to your character. So give yourself a huge pat on the back for being able to do that. And thank you for supporting the channel. And Erica Jean says, sorry I am late, but I wanted to say a huge thank you for all the videos. You changed my life for the better. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Erica. I mean, that's the goal. That's the aim. Yeah, I've had lots of help. Arthur has been a big help over the years. Arthur helped format the Reluctant Apostate, didn't you, Arthur? And edit it as well. So
and the escape book.
and the escape book, How to Escape from Jehovah's Witnesses. So, and I've had my books as well, which are behind me. That's actually why I couldn't do the live stream last week, actually, because I was making some improvements to my bookshelves and sorting through my collection, which I haven't really had chance to do since I moved into the attic. But I did just want to add that for those of you who are able to support the channel, just like Laura has just done with her super chat, it really, really is appreciated, because the goal is to get to 0.5% of my subscribers supporting the channel in some way, kind of on a in a monetary way, which is like 1 in 200 viewers. I think that's kind of like a realistic target, and that would mean something like 570 or 580 with the current subscriber numbers, and currently we're on around 400. So there's some kind of ground to make up, and I realize that we're operating in a very, very challenging economy at the moment, and in fact I've had some patrons have to quit, specifically citing things like the tariffs and the upheaval that's going on as the reason why they just can't anymore. And I completely understand that. And my attitude has always been, it's not about whether you're able to pledge moving forward, it's about what you've been able to give in the past, which has really helped kind of pay things forward and helped me produce this content. But it's I just had to put it out there that if you're kind of on the fence about whether to join as a member, there's a join button below this video, and there will also be a link in the description for the Patreon if you're able, and only if you're able to give. I do not want anyone pledging if they are on a low income, if they have health problems, they're not able to work, anything like that. Do not pledge. Leave it to those who are able. So
yes, the economic situation here in Romania is also going through some hard moments.
Yeah,
especially now on the rise of the far right in Romania as well. We have an interim president, we have an interim government, an interim everything. So nothing is certain, and the euro went up. So the Romanian leu lost its value for the first time after 5 years of staying at a stable 4.97 lei per euro. Now it's 5.12.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's something that's been troubling you, hasn't it, Arthur? The kind of political situation in Romania.
Yes.
Justifiably. I would be. Things are relatively stable here in Croatia, but I'm sure if the far right had more leverage here, I would be equally concerned. But there is definitely a far right element here in Croatia. In fact, some of you know I do comedy shows. And I've started to be paid for them, so I'm now it's now like a side gig where I go and make people laugh and actually get paid to do so. And so I was doing a show last week, and one of the comedians said, if you're in Zagreb on was it the 3rd of July or something, he said, get out. He said, because it's a Thompson concert, which is like this far right singer, and it's going to be a record attendance in the whole of Croatia. 500,000 people are descending on Zagreb to attend the concert, and basically Thompson is again far right. So basically the city is going to be completely swamped with fascists. So it's like,
but don't worry,
while you can.
Don't worry, because this summer, the special convention of Jehovah's Witnesses is coming to Zagreb as well.
Oh, right. We have I didn't even know that, so that's news to me. That'll be probably Zagreb Arena, probably.
Yeah.
Are you going, Arthur?
No, I'm having for the first time in over 20 years the regional convention in our city.
Oh, okay.
But so you will go to that probably.
Yeah, I will go to that. Yeah.
Does that sort of thing kind of interest you, Diana? Kind of going to conventions or Kingdom Hall meetings just to kind of understand the modern culture of being a Jehovah's
Thought about
Witness?
it, but then again, like my I know a lot of people around here. They might be like, "Oh, are you Carol's daughter?"
Yeah. Okay.
You know, yeah. I mean, I thought about it though, just to see what you're saying. You know, just like going to like a Saturday or something. Probably run into my mom or something though if I went to convention. And
yeah.
But this weekend they started the Pure Worship series of regional conventions. So we had the one in Newburgh, usually the first convention in the United States. That's being also recorded and posted on GW Stream for the English language. And we also had this weekend one of the special conventions in Santa Cruz, Bolivia.
Oh, okay.
And that was also advertised on GW.org.
Arthur, if I went to the one in Zagreb, you'd probably be able to forge me a badge, wouldn't you?
I hope so.
Just a thought.
You have
okay.
Usually now the badges are available as a downloadable PDF document from GW Hub from the document.
Oh, okay. But that's still like not that easy to which you can.
So you need other access.
We'll talk about that separately, but that might be an interesting video.
I called my former Bible teacher today and asked him whether he can grab me a badge for the convention. We have our convention in July sometime. I didn't remember the exact date.
Okay.
But I asked him whether he can grab me a printed one or get me the PDF.
If I could have a badge, I'd be genuinely interested in going. The only thing is I would have to be kind of careful to avoid certain people who still remember me. Although I have my appearance has changed quite a bit since I was a Jehovah's Witness, so who knows? But
do you need a badge to get in?
I mean,
no, but if you don't have a badge, the
security might start following you around if you don't have a badge. Yeah, I want to be able to completely blend in, you know, and I don't want any. If there's one thing that the security guys at conventions love, it's any kind of intrigue where they can get on their walkie-talkies and say, "We have a suspect who doesn't have a badge," you know.
You know, do you remember, Lloyd? You also did a rebuttal on that attendant training video that was leaked a couple of years ago.
I did, yeah. They love their walkie-talkies and any excuse for a little bit of drama. I used to be on the chairman's office, so I mean, I did do the attendance and watchman thing, but then I kind of got promoted to the chairman's office, and as a result of that, we had our own walkie-talkies, and sometimes we just used to, in moments where we were very, very bored, just amuse ourselves at how the attendants were kind of playing at cops and, you know, taking the job super, super seriously, and some of the stupid things they were saying. Yeah,
I saw, like, I don't know what your opinion is, but there's been a lot of videos that people have been like disrupting the memorial and standing up and shouting, and I don't necessarily think that that's the way to go.
I definitely don't think that's the way to go.
Yeah, it just makes us look crazy.
Yeah.
No,
Arthur knows, I've come in for quite some flack over the years for speaking out against that behavior, because and I do here's the thing, I do understand it, and I understand where it comes from. And I empathize with where it comes from, because, you know, especially when we're talking about kind of abuse survivors, we're talking about people who have been traumatized by this group, and they see these memorials as an opportunity to speak out against their abusers in some way. So I do completely empathize with that. It's just that I think as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, it's very, very easy to forget what it's like to be a Jehovah's Witness and how this comes across when you're going to your memorial as a believing Jehovah's Witness. You just want to engage in not just any act of worship, but the most important act of worship of your year. And you just want to be able to do that without any kind of interference from quote unquote apostates or unbelievers, or in fact anybody. You just want to be able you just want to be able to do your worship in your safe space, in your local community kingdom hall. And when people disrespect that, which is what some of these videos show, and by the way, these videos have been being posted now for years and years and years. When people disrespect that, what happens is you immediately look at them and think, well, that's exactly what an apostate is supposed to look like, according to what the organization's been warning me.
Right. Yeah, just like I've shown in We're Going to the Meaning music video, when I had those two pieces of artwork depicting apostates at a convention center.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I remember
aggressive.
When I was very young. I remember they used to come into our hall, and and I was made to believe that they were just really scary, people from the devil and demon.
Yeah, boogeyman.
Satan got into them, and that was like the myth. So I understand that as having experienced that myself. I understand, like you said, their passion and they want to get the word out, but I don't think that's necessarily the way to go about it.
It's counterproductive, basically. Yeah. I understand that it's cathartic for them, but I don't think that personal catharsis should come at the expense of polarizing an entire community against unbelievers, against former believers, and making it harder for them to kind of wake up in the future. So I've attracted all sorts of criticism over the years for saying that, but it's just common sense to me, and people are free to disagree with me. Feel free to say in the comments if you disagree with me, respectfully, of course. But yeah, that's kind of my take on things.
I also don't like aggressive activism, as you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chibuzor Abel says, "Hi Lloyd, from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
I want to extend your message to the locals here who are unable to reach you. Is there any way you can advise me? I love this program. I want to extend it to locals, maybe by Finn." So I'm not quite sure what that end part means, but first of all, welcome. It's lovely that you're watching all the way over in Nigeria. I will be posting a link to the webpage in the video description as soon as possible. So you'll at least have the webpage. If you have like a phone, maybe you can share the link with people locally. And yeah, obviously I'm talking about it now in the video, so maybe you can share a link to this video and yeah, get the word out in any way you can. I'm sure there are many ways that you can do that. But well done for doing what you can in your local community, because it is an outrage what's happened in your country, for sure. Thank you to Beauty Rest for your very kind super chat. Thanks, Forrest, all you do. For that Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that was probably an autocorrect,
Yeah.
All right, okay. I was trying to think, what did I say that's like Forrest Gump? Laughs like a box of chocolates.
I'm going to go to college too.
Your beard blends in now, Lloyd. I think this is a reference to the fact that my hair's no longer blonde. or has any blonde?
No,
in
it was about the fact that if you want to go to the
Oh,
convention
of course,
this
the
summer,
convention. Yeah. Well, that's another bonus is I
true,
wouldn't have to be clean shaven.
yeah.
So
I can wear trousers.
But you have to trim it nicely and
yes, I would make sure it's immaculately trimmed. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Lloyd Evans looks suspicious. All right. Thank you, Ray Ray. I'll take that as a compliment, actually. I don't want to look too much like a Jehovah's Witness. And it's so boring at conventions, so you can't blame them. This is talking about the attendance. It is. I mean, that's just the truth. Conventions are insanely boring. I think they're a little bit more interesting now with the videos.
Yes, yes, and especially this year's Pure Worship series of conventions. It's all about Jesus. So this summer we have 2 new episodes of the Good News,
which makes it more interesting, series. Apparently.
Well, that's
according
right.
To
They're continuing that whole Jesus.
Yeah, because this Jesus series is 18 episodes. Okay. The first episode was released last year. We have 2 brand new videos, one 52 minutes, one 39 minutes. They can already be downloaded from jw.org, so I've already skimmed through them, and they are really interesting, and I love them, and it's so exciting.
Are you being sarcastic remotely now, Arthur?
No, I'm really honest. I'm really honest, because if I were a Jehovah's Witness, or if I were one of Jehovah's Witnesses...
No, that's what I mean. Don't talk about if you were one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Speak for yourself. You really find them fascinating?
I find them fascinating from a Jehovah's Witness viewpoint, yes. Definitely.
That wasn't the question.
I keep acting.
Well, here's how I feel about the Jesus drama. I'm kind of grateful for it because, so back in the day, you had like debunker videos, you know, and you had some truly outrageous, outrageous videos. The worst convention ever, which I called it at the time, had the bunker videos and the Sergey videos and something else. So it was like a barrage of very, very clear, you know, objectively kind of culty material. And so that was kind of a few years ago now. And I often thought at the time, not just for the convention rebuttals, but during my regular rebuttals, you know, if I were on the other side and if I were them and I were making a JW Broadcasting episode or a convention, what would I do to make it hard for me to do my job? So in other words, what would their material look like if there were less for me to comment on and find and poke holes in? And I think that what they're doing now, or what it looks like they're doing now, is pretty much that. I would play it safe and I would just talk about Jesus and the Bible. Because honestly, if all they're going to do is just talk about Jesus and the Bible, I have less to talk about. I'm not, you know, I have on occasion, and I will continue to explain how a lot of what they have to say about the Bible's authenticity and the veracity of the Gospels, blah, 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 is in error. But broadly speaking, I'm not really interested in debunking what they have to say about Jesus or the Bible or Christianity in general. It's when they stray into areas of people's personal lives that cause harm. That's when I will have something to say. So I'm kind of secretly hoping that if they base an entire convention on the Jesus drama, that I will have less work to do. That's kind of...
But obviously... obviously, so I didn't expect, and I will never expect the Jehovah's Witness Jesus drama to get even remotely close to David Jenkins' Chosen series. That's art. This is Watchtower educational video.
Nice to have governing body member Jeff Winder in the live chat. Hi, Jeff. Hello, Lloyd. We are that close to the end. I hope all come back to Jehovah soon. Arthur can't come back because he's never been a Jehovah's Witness, but maybe
Jehovah's Witness? I thought you were.
No,
No.
Oh, well, you showed a lot of interest in it then.
he's just
Yeah.
abnormally interested in them. Is
Wow.
how I would describe him.
So you had, okay. So you don't have any childhood memories of sitting through meetings.
No.
Are you close to coming back to Jehovah, Diana, or has that ship sailed? Do you think?
I know. I just, I'm ready to run to the nearest Kingdom Hall. In fact, I was in Panama a month ago, and I remember I sent you that picture. And I'm out running. I'm in a mountain area that's remote, like nobody, thousands of feet in the air. And what do I run past? For JW Hall.
It's they're like Coca-Cola. They're everywhere. So
Jehovah is in my heart, and Jesus is in my heart, and I feel
Arthur, you have plenty of time to be
Spirit.
triggering in our next segment, which is coming up very shortly. Kingfisher 222, which I'll be interested to see Diana's reaction to that, by the way. Kingfisher 222 says, definitely agree. By confirming their view of apostates through your actions, you will not be helpful at all in supporting them to question their beliefs. So, yeah.
I hope they watch this at least, and just maybe realize that there's other ways to go about it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll stop taking comments because we're kind of a little bit running behind schedule in terms of our sing along with Arthur. So I do.
This is why I joined.
This is why you joined us. That you're a fan, are you, of sing along with Arthur?
I'm really glad.
Well, now you can fangirl a little bit because he's here, So let me just.
We're finally back for a fresh episode of Sing Along with Yours.
You have to play the intro first.
After my last week's successful attempt of political correctness, I received some.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to do things professionally.
Yeah.
My bad. One moment. Oh. It's a good intro. Why would I not play that? Awkward silence while I find it.
You need a producer.
Yeah, I do.
And we're finally back for a fresh episode of Sing Along with Yours Truly. After my last week's quite successful attempt of political correctness, I received some mixed feedback. Some voices in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community applauded my considerate approach of signaling at the start of the segment the type of content I was about to broadcast, because obviously the community is large and features a wide range of individuals whose experience in the organization covers a spectrum of traits.
Screw him, do your thing,
Arthur. Some might
Arthur.
be more sensitive than others to certain triggers. But on the other hand, there was Caesar. I received a call from a guy called Brendan. He didn't reveal his last name, but led me to understand that he's got some connections with the FCC. He was like, "Hey Arthur, I was touched by your compliance to our regulations, but your segment does not meet the criteria for the enforcement of showing the warning card." I asked him why. He said, "When Brother Evans submitted the format of the segment for approval by us, we noticed that you are in charge of producing Sing Along with Arthur, and you are known in all of Washington for your intentional triggering remarks. Thus, when viewers see Arthur Weber on the Lloyd Evans channel, they automatically expect it to be triggering. Ergo, the disclaimer card is no longer needed."
I agree.
I tried to hide my blushing and thanked him wholeheartedly for allowing me to continue to be triggering without offending any of our dear viewers. While preparing for the memorial and developing last episode's sing-along, I had to go through what we in the filmmaking industry call pre-production. In our theocratic context, pre-production evidently comes with preparation of the heart, prayer for guidance by Holy Spirit, Bible reading, research using the tools provided, and meditation on how to apply Christian principles during production.
I don't think you did any of that.
I would like to share my experience with you. I'll try to keep my reasoning as short as possible.
No, you won't.
But at the same time, it's so spiritually upbuilding and sobering to see how the logic flows together and how various scriptures connect to one another.
I feel like sobering had more impact when it was Tony Morris saying it. Is it me? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to say sobering all the time when he was giving his talks, and it was so funny. Anyway, carry on, Arthur.
During the evening of Nicene 14, there was a statement made by Jesus that caught my attention. Please note what the gospel writer recorded in Luke chapter 22, verses 29 and 30.
Oh dear.
I make a covenant with you, just as my Father has made a covenant with me, for a kingdom, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. Note here that Jesus makes a covenant with his faithful apostles, his closest associates, a covenant for the kingdom. But this is not the first time Jesus highlighted the connection between his disciples and the kingdom. If we turn a few pages back to Luke chapter 12, we find a delightful assurance Jesus gave his followers in verse 32.
By the way, there are 61. There were 61. There's now 59 people watching this live, and I just want to say you all deserve a medal for making it this far. Carry on.
Have no fear, little flock, for your Father has approved of giving you the kingdom. What an outstanding privilege it is to be part of that little flock, also referred to as Christ's brothers in Matthew 25, verse 40. However, this role comes with a heavy responsibility as per Luke 22, verse 30, to judge the 12 tribes of Israel, which likely symbolizes Jehovah's people as a whole. But today, in these last days, some of these brothers of the Lord Jesus would receive another heavy responsibility. This important task is mentioned in the same chapter 12 of Luke, 10 verses down.
There is going to be singing at some point, is there, Arthur?
I feel like I'm in a meeting.
Obviously.
There is going to be singing. Good.
Verse
Just checking.
42.
Yeah.
We won't read this verse, but rather the parallel account in Matthew, where the wording is much more familiar to us. Please open with me to
Should
Matthew
I be taking
chapter
notes?
24, verse
I
45.
feel like I should be taking notes.
I'm sure you know this scripture by heart, but it's a sobering reminder to show appreciation to the theocratic arrangement. Matthew 24:45 reads, "Who really is the faithful and discreet slave whom his master appointed over his domestics to give them their food at the proper time?"
I'm the faithful and discreet.
Note the usage of the word really in that verse. It's very important. Really renders the Greek word ara, which literally means then or therefore. No other Bible translation I know of, except the New World Translation, renders it really. However, there is documented evidence in Strong's exhaustive concordance that this rendering is indeed a valid one. But why were the members of the New World Bible Translation Committee compelled to use really as...
Sorry, are you saying that they're the only... This is actually quite interesting. I didn't know this. So the New World Translation is the only one that says really, and you're saying that it's actually valid.
Yes.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
I've really researched this.
Okay. Fair
Really?
enough. Obviously, a lot of effort has gone into this. Yeah. I'm just interested to know when the singing's
Greek
going to
word
start.
ara. It's not just another random example of the New World Translation being doctored or forced to adhere to long-standing teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's so much more than that. This rendering suggests an obvious truth. Apparently, Jesus knew that during the last days, many of his professed followers would not correctly identify that slave. Many biblical scholars hold the view that the parable of the faithful slave or the faithful steward is just that, a parable, and that every Christian, especially when appointed to preach, should prove to be faithful to God's word and discreet in applying Bible principles. Obviously, without the proper channel, without guidance from Holy Spirit, one cannot have an accurate grasping of the Bible. Therefore, how thrilled we were when the July 15th, 2013 edition of the Watchtower magazine explained in print what we had learned at the 2012 annual meeting. That slave has been closely identified with the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. Have we fully inculcated this basic truth in ourselves during the past 13 years? If so, let's take this verse one step further. Rephrase the question and see what it means to us. Who really is the governing body? Meditating on this question helps us realize that we can shape our appreciation to the individual members of the governing body by getting to know them better.
We're down to 53 viewers, and can I just say to the 53 live viewers, you all deserve a medal. Well done for sticking out. I'm sure at some point
are we going to hear you sing, Arthur?
In this week's Sing Along with Arthur, there will be some singing. We've been promised it.
I might have to get him a glass of wine.
I'm surprised. Look, should we have a drinks break at this point? Because I've got some whiskey in the other room. I'm thinking of going full on TM3 at this point. No, I'm on the edge. I'm right on the edge.
Let's continue because...
Back in the earlier days, Lloyd featured the series Getting to Know You, in which he showcased some of the most hard-hitting, even sobering declarations of select governing body members.
Oh, I remember that series.
Yeah. You too. Then came JW Broadcasting, where governing body members would shine in 720p and help us get to know them better. More recently, on July 11th, 2020, I released La Danse du Collège Central, a song dedicated to the governing body. It's been almost 5 years, and the faithful and discreet slave have both collectively and individually worked tirelessly to serve the worldwide brotherhood. And yet, the attention they draw upon themselves is never enough. Dear viewers, would you like to hear a song dedicated to a specific member of the governing body?
Yeah!
Me too. So please keep praying to Jehovah to make this happen on our show.
So we need to
There
pray
is also
for it.
one more element in the cited issue of the Watchtower that is worthy for our renewed attention. I'd invite you to open the magazine to page 26, but I'm aware that you don't have that specific issue at hand, so I'm going to help you and show you the specific page on screen. Back then, Mark Sanderson was the youngest.
I'm going to get a drink, I'm sorry.
Appointed when he was only 47 years old. Tonight, Brother Sanderson will be appointed into a new capacity. We are pleased to announce the release of the song prepared for this installment of the sing-along, having Mark
O'Donnell.
No, Mark Sanderson as the recipient, the beneficiary, the focal point. Well, Mark, you've been allegedly, apparently, obviously, evidently marked. The song won the Record of the Year at the 11th Annual Grammy Awards in 1969. Prepare your hallelujahs as Simon and Garfunkel's Mrs. Robinson dresses up as Brother Sanderson. F-sharp major, guys.
Ah!
That was good
Love
timing.
this song. That's my favorite song.
Cheers.
And here's to you, Brother Sanderson. Jehovah loves you, and you already know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apostates though, Brother Sanderson would rather see you fleeing far away. Hey, 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 hey. I met you in the circuit work throughout Canadian lands. You were young and had spiritual potential. I appreciated all your feedback and that we were good friends. I'm happy for you reaching out for so much more. And here's to you, Brother Sanderson. Jehovah loves you, but you already know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apostates though, Brother Sanderson
would rather see you fleeing far away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Next you were on the branch committee in the Philippines. Saw the seed of the kingdom grow larger, giving courage children to get baptized in their teens.
Did do that.
And get shunned the moment they decide to leave. Shame on you, Mark, Brother Sanderson. God forgives you, but you already know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apostates though, Brother Sanderson would rather see you fleeing far away. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Nice percussion
For the
there.
past 12 years you've been part of the faithful slave, shaping the lives of fellow worshippers. When you meditate about it, is your conscience clear? You'll be rendering account to Jesus, have no fear. I guess this privilege, Brother Sanderson, may be one too heavy enough for you. Ooh, although I'm sure, Brother Sanderson, you won't give up your cozy place to stay. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Wow.
Wow, that was great. I loved it. Oh, God.
Look at that. Look at that concentration.
Excellent.
I don't think I've ever seen that much concentration applied to playing the bongos.
Let me ask, Arthur, do you have a full-time job or is this it?
Yeah, I have a full-time job. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, usually the joke is like we're all kind of like, you know, cringing and what have you. But that was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
That was absolute. It's actually a little bit annoying how good that was, because it kind of spoils the comedic element of Sing Along with Arthur. The whole point is that we're kind of like, oh, but that was
Actually,
that was brilliant. Maybe it's the whiskey talking.
Really good. Really good.
I want to play that again.
Yeah. What's the next one, Arthur? Do you have another one planned?
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas in my head on what to do.
If you need help with lyrics, hit me up. I'm good. I like write poetry and stuff, and I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Look
great,
at you trying to get in on the act, Diana. Jesus. Wow.
Because obviously all of these adaptations are my own original lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I don't think that was, you know, off the internet or anything.
Jesus loves you more than you will know.
No, it was Jesus loves you, but you already know, which is quite clever.
Right.
Yeah. That was brilliant. No, honestly, what a bombshell to end the show on.
I have no words. That was great. It was brilliant.
I'm speechless, but in a good way. So that was wonderful, and I'm even worth the triggering talk. I'm just gonna say it. It was worth sitting through the triggering talk, and I even learned something from the triggering talk about really in the Matthew.
Exactly. 24:45.
In Matthew 24:45.
So that was the original. You said it wasn't added in there.
Yeah. So the Greek word ara means then or therefore. But actually, really or truly is one of the secondary meanings of the word. So in Strong's, there is in the list of definitions or English translation, possible English translation of the word, there is really and truly. But all the all the Bible translations, for example, if you go to BibleHub.com, all of them have who then, who therefore is the faithful steward, faithful servant.
Wow, I didn't know that either. So, wow.
I like to think that the Last Days live stream edifies and educates all of us in some way, shape, or form.
I've heard something, and I saw your musical talent.
It edifies, it entertains, it educates. That's the whole point. I mean, it's the last days. We're all about to die on the end of a fireball, or with the ground opening up, or some other grisly form of execution. Birds, death by birds is another one. You know, we might as well use the few moments that we have left before that happens, you know, enriching ourselves intellectually. And that's what Arthur's doing here, I think.
Arthur, thank you. That was great. Kudos.
Thank you so much, Diana.
So
it's so lovely to have Susan in the live chat.
Yes, Susan, so lovely to see you. Lip Lock No More. I've interviewed Susan on the show. She's a long time follower, friend, and supporter of the channel. So happy to see you guys are still building bridges. Erica Jean, who said a moment ago, "I am so impressed," but I'm assuming this is not her criticizing you. Sound of silence, please. So it can't be a criticism because she was impressed.
We're feeling groovy.
a shunning one if you haven't already. Look, the possibilities are endless, and I'm sure we'll have more. Daniel, who's been on the show, he's also doing music. I do music. I'm hoping to re-record an old song, Good Things, Bad Things, at some point. Do a 2025 version of it. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll have more music on the show in the weeks and months ahead. But can I just say what an amazing panel it's been? It's been so lovely to have you, Diana. Can we look forward to having you again on this show?
Yes. Everybody, tune in next week if you want to know what's going on.
No, I mean on the Last Days live stream.
Oh, on the Last Days live stream. This is brilliant. Yeah.
Yes,
I was
please.
depressed today because it's Mother's Day and I'm like here alone. And I was like,
happy Mother's Day. Can I just thank you for reminding me. Obviously, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, it wasn't, it was kind of taboo, and so it's kind of easy for it to kind of slip my radar. But I'm very, very grateful to the mother of my children. I'm very, very grateful to her. I'm very, very grateful to my mother, who's obviously passed away. But yeah, some amazing mothers out there, and we've talked, about the tragic passing of a mother who wasn't even a Jehovah's Witness due to the barbarity of Jehovah's Witness teachings. So, without wanting to end on a negative note, mothers are crucial and valued and important. So all of you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. And I hope you've all been entertained by our live stream.
And yes, we couldn't have become the individuals we are today without the support and love and care of our mothers.
And most crucially, DNA. The DNA is helpful as well. But panel, you've been amazing. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Arthur. Lovely to have you both on the show, and very much looking forward to future shows. And again, viewers, please tune in at the same time next week when Diana and I will be going over the recent legal issues faced by the organization. We're going to be bringing you the unadulterated facts about the case. So look forward to that. Viewers, I hope you have enjoyed episode 6 of season 3 of the Last Days live stream. It's been a blast, and I wish you all a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much.
Adios, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Happy Mother's Day. Woo!
Thank you.